Hi, I'm Dan from Movement Geeks, and quite often I get asked in clinic or when we're teaching workshops about how we warm up, what's a good preparation to get you ready for exercise. And this is a little routine I've picked up along the way. It's got its influences from all sorts of different places, so you'll probably recognize a lot of the stuff in there. But the good thing is it pretty much gives every joint a lovely good wiggle in all its ranges of motion. Gets that synovial fluid all flowing and just gets that body temperature up a little bit. So it becomes a really lovely preparation to the start of the workout. But it also allows us to start noticing which areas are slightly tighter than other areas, which areas might need a little bit more work. So even though we're going through reps in here, they're all totally arbitrary. So if you find an area which is a little bit more sticky, feel free to enjoy a couple more reps in there as well and just make that a bit more of a focus in your warm-up. So follow along. I hope you enjoy it, and feel free to message either myself or Ulric if you want any more information on what we do specifically for warm-ups. Okay, let's start with the head and then work our way down. So to begin with the head, we're just going to turn it to the left and turn it to the right. And just be aware of which sides are a little bit stiffer, which are a bit stickier and creakier. And then from there, we're going to start to use the eyes. So you're going to use the eyes to look behind you now. So you're going to drive a little more motion by using your eyes to look. And after we've done 2 or 3 of those, we're going to keep the movement going. But instead of rotating the eyes, we're going to keep the eyes fixed to the front. So we're going to rotate the head to the left, but keep the eyes facing forwards. Rotate. Rotate. It might become a bit blurry. That's all good. And the idea of this is we start to get the eye muscles to work and start challenging some of those balance receptors in the brain. From there, we're going to go up and down. So to start with, look down at your chest and then look back up at the ceiling. Down at the chest, feeling a stretch down the back of the neck and up to the ceiling. Then the same thing with the eyes. So now we're going to keep the eyes straight and we're going to tilt the head up so you're looking down your nose. Head down, looking up through your eyebrows. And we'll do 2 or 3 of those. And then from there, we're going to take the head side to side. So to begin with, just take your left ear to your left shoulder and your right ear to your right shoulder. So moving at all the planes of motion here. All the muscles on the side of the neck getting a stretch and the muscle on the other side getting a small contraction. And then we're going to start putting a reach, just exaggerating that a little bit. So this time as the head goes to the right, the left arm rotates out through the thumb and reaches down to the floor. Then we're going to take the head to the left and reach down. So we start to get this lovely little stretch, which is exaggerated with the arm reach right up into the traps and up into the neck. A couple more of those, then we're going to move into a little head tilt. So you're just going to pull your chin back towards your neck as if your whole head's just sliding back. And let it peck forwards like a chicken. Slide back and peck forwards. And if you have 3 or 4 chins on this, all the better. The more chins, the further we've pulled it back. And then from there, this is the tricky one. You're just going to do a very slight shift to the left and a very slight shift to the right. Now you might want to find a mirror to practice this one as well. And it's only a tiny, tiny movement. Then from there we're going to put the whole thing together. So we're going to start drawing a circle with that neck. So the neck comes all the way around, out to the side, back, shift, forwards like a chicken, shift to the side, pull it back and out. Then we go the other way. And you'll find one side's a little bit easier than the other, but it gets easier with practice. Then from there, we're going to take it into the chest. So as you start to pull that chin back like we did before, you're going to feel that chest start to lift. And I want you to imagine that you're breathing the air out. So someone's giving you a little push in the sternum, it all breathes out. So we breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. You put little hands in there as well. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Really changing that sternum to lift as opposed to the whole shoulder girdle to lift. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. From there, we're going to take it to the side. So your pelvis isn't going to move. This time, like one of those old-fashioned typewriters, you're just going to shunt your ribs to the left and shunt your ribs to the right. Shunt them to the left and shunt them to the right. And you feel all those ribs sliding across each other. And shift. And shift. And like with the head, now we're going to link it all together. So you're going to start with the breath in. Then we're going to shunt. Then we're going to come out. Then we're going to shunt. And then we're going to come back out with the breath. And again, so out, shunt, push, and reach. Now let's blur the edges and make it nice and smooth. So it becomes a circular motion there as the chest gets a chance to move around the static pelvis. A couple more of those, then we're going to bring it back the other way. So shunt to the left, push back, shunt to the right, and pull it forwards. And again, shunt, breathe out, push, and forwards. One more time, shunt, breathe out, push across, and come forwards. Then we smooth it so it starts to circle all the way around, and we're just getting control of all our body, learning where it feels a bit stiff, and just finding ways that we can articulate it, which perhaps we thought we couldn't do before. Having taken that, we're going to go down into the pelvis now. Same kind of idea. So you can soften your legs, and I want you to imagine you have got a plumb line dangling between your thighs. And that plumb line we can just gradually get to swing. So we're just going to swing it forwards, and it swings backwards. So imagine that line just swinging and swinging, and it's all happening in your pants. So I don't want anything happening in the upper torso, just everything down there in the pelvis. So it's swinging, 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 and we call this an anterior tilt and a posterior tilt, but we don't really care. Just keep that pendulum swinging. It shouldn't feel painful here. It should just feel like a rocking of the pelvis. If you want to make it slightly different, you can put a hand on the front and a hand on the back, and you can just guide it through with your hands. Push it under, push it back, push it under, push it back. Then from there, we go into the hip drops. So we're going to get a hip drop down on one side. So we can just soften one leg, which is going to leave us up on one hip. Then we soften the other leg, and it leaves us up on one hip. And again, if you put your hands on top of your pelvis here, you can feel this really rather butch hip motion going on, which is going to filter up into your lower back. It's going to filter down into your knees, and obviously filter down into the muscles around the hips as well. So from there, like we did with the other two, we're going to put that into a combination. So we pendulum forwards, come to the side, pendulum back, and then drop down on that right hip. And again, forwards, drop down on the left, backwards, drop down on the right. Then we smooth the edges. And again, you can make this massive like a hula hoop and actually bypass everything in the pelvis, or you can keep it kind of small in the pelvis, just as if you were stirring porridge. And then we're going to take it the other way. So we go drop on the right, back, drop on the left, tilt under, and again drop on the right, tilt back, drop on the left, tilt under, and then we start to smooth all the edges into that nice little circular motion all over again. And then if you want to come back to the top, we can put all three bits together. So if we look at the first bit, as we pull the chin back, lift the chest up, and then we've just dangled the pelvis backwards, and then we go the other way, we let it tuck under, and we come through. So we breathe in and out, in and out. So it's lifting up through the chest, pushing it back, bringing it in, back, in, and back. Then we put the rotations in, and we just had a little reach. So using your arm to drive you, you can just reach behind you and take a little step forwards and reach. So I'm pivoting over the top of my left leg, reaching back with that left hand. And again, if I follow with my head, and look at my hands, we get the whole body rotating over the top of that left leg. And then I can start looking forwards and keep the hand rotating back. And again, this is loosening off all around those hip rotators in the hip, all the way through that thoracic spine, all the way through the neck muscles as well. And then we take it onto the other side. I'm just going to let that motion go. So let it rotate, follow with the heads. Let it rotate, follow with the heads. Again, you might feel a little stretch through your chest as you do this. And then we keep the head straight. And again, keep that rotation going. You might feel a stretch into your buttocks here, maybe a stretch down into the side of your calves. And breathe it back through. Then we're going to take the final one, which is an old dancer stretch. So this time, I want you to reach up with your right hand as high as it will go, and then just soften your right knee, and you'll feel a lovely big stretch all the way through your right side. And then we go the other way, so reach up with the left. You're going to bend that left knee and feel a lovely stretch all the way up that left side. And again, so a big reach up, and this time fuse the two together, and you'll feel that softening. You can look up to the hands, or you can look straight forwards. And then we're going to move those hands around as well. So this time you're going to reach across the body. And as you do so, you're going to rotate your palm so it's facing up, still softening those knees. Reaching it all the way through. Then we're going to change the hand the other way and rotate it. And you feel a lovely stretch coming through all the back of your shoulder blades there. And play around with the arm positions, play around with the rotations until we finish. All the way back at the top. So, having just finished with the arm reaches, now let's take it into shoulders and continue the movement going. So, to start with, all we're going to do is just let the arms swing. So as you swing, I want you to start thinking about that arm coming forwards, and as it comes forwards, just rotate those thumbs out so your palms are facing up to the ceiling. And you can just have a little bend in the legs in between each one, and if that's a little bit too much, forget the legs and just rotate those arms. So the one going forwards rotates out, the one going back rotates the other way. And so from there, you might find, if you've got a mirror in front of you, that actually your chest is only facing forwards. So now we're going to let those arms reach a little bit more, and you're going to feel your actual chest start to rotate. So if I had a couple of nipple headlamps on here, the nipple headlamps would go from left to right while my head stays still. And then from there, let's take those arms a little bit higher, and you'll feel a big rotation literally come all the way through the thorax down to the feet. Reaching up, and coming back down into the arms again. This time you're going to reach over nice and high, feeling a stretch down into those triceps. And then back into your arm swings again. This time I want you to reach the backhand back. With that rotation, you might feel a stretch into your biceps. And from there, we're going to take those arms out to the side. And again, you'll find it's that same rotation pattern. So as one rotates back, the other one rotates forwards. So think about your thumbs. As one thumb rotates forwards, the other thumb rotates back. So we're just going to play with this motion for a bit. And it's going to start pretty much up into the arms, but then I want you to exaggerate it. So then as that left arm keeps rotating back, that right arm keeps rotating forwards, you'll feel that shoulder want to come over on the right and tuck in. Then we'll reverse it. Rotate back, rotate in, and you'll feel that shoulder come up and over and rotate in. And as you do this as well, you might feel that your ribs want to shift across. And your ribs want to shift across, so just let that happen. And then from there, you might feel a bit of creaking and cracking. That's just cobwebs being blown away, so keep going through that, as long as there's no pain. And then from there, let's start putting the hands in. So as you rotate through, this hand starts to stretch down, so you feel a lovely stretch through the inside of the forearm there. As the other arm stretches back, as if you're about to receive a baton from behind, and you feel a lovely stretch down the forearm there. And again, so we stretch into that big reach. and it starts to become a whole body exercise. And actually quite tiring in the shoulders as well. And one, and then we're just going to turn around. Right leg behind you, left leg in front. We're going to start by reaching that right hand up, palm towards the ceiling. Reach up, up, up. When you get up to here, you feel a lovely big stretch coming through. Rotate that hand so your knuckles are facing your ears and come all the way back through. So we reach up, making a lovely big circle and all the way back. And one more big reach and all the way back. Then we reverse it. So we come back, reaching out, finishing again with the palm facing up and back down. So rotating it and back and rotating it and back. Then we turn on to the other side. We do exactly the same thing. So reaching up with that left hand, palm towards the ceiling. Rotate all the way down. And we're going to do that another 2 times. Palm up, rotate, just like backstroke swimming. Up, rotate, and then reverse it. Coming through, big stretch, and down, 2 more. And 1 more. And stretch. Okay, so we're going to come back down now through the hips, down into the knees, down into the ankles. So I'm going to start with just a few leg swings again to get back into those hips. So simply just soften that left knee, and you can start small for this just to find your balance. And we're just going to let that leg rock forwards and backwards. As it rocks forwards, you might feel a little stretch come down into that hamstring, and as you go backwards, a little stretch down the front of that thigh there. And again, you can swing your arms, just let that all hang out. All we're trying to do is get a little bit of movement in there and a little bit of balance in that supporting leg. Then from there, you're going to take it sideways across your body. So again, just let it swing as if you're kicking a football. And you might wobble around a little bit with this, but that's all good as well. We're challenging your balance. And a few more of those, and then we're going to get tricky. So we're going to go forwards and backwards now. So we're just going to move it around as if you're drawing a big circle on the floor there. And then the last one we're going to do is just bring it across. So you're leading with the knee, kind of like a figure of 8. And again, we're just seeing if we can get a little bit of movement into those hips and a little bit of balance on that supporting leg. And then we'll try the other side. So again, just a little bit of a swing. Make it small to start with. And then you can start making it a little bit bigger. Just like you're trying to kick a football or a rugby ball. And then from there we do sideways. So we just brought it across. And again, a little stretch on the inside of the thigh as we come across here. And then as we come across here, just a little stretch into that glute. And again, swing, 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 and swing. Then from there, round the corner. So a big circle, opening up those hips. You can put your arms out to balance. And some circles there. Feel that coming down into that supporting leg. You might feel the muscles around the knees start to work quite hard. And then into the figure of 8. So in and out, in, out. A couple more of those. 3, 2, and 1. So from there we come down into the knees. Now, this was an old warm-up we used to do in judo a lot, and it's just a big knee circle there. So we're softening the knees, and as you come around, just feel how that filters down into your feet. So you might be able to feel your feet doing this kind of circle as well. Then we're going the other way, so to the left. And then we're going to do something a little bit funky. We're going to take them both opposite directions. So again, feel how those feet are collapsing in. And then the other way. Then let's finish down with the ankles. And very simply, there's a multitude of things that we can do for the ankles, but let's keep it simple for today. And again, just one foot out, and we're just going to draw circles. So I want you to do a big circle as far as you can go. So we're looking at really going into the cobweb zone with this one. And again, if you've had ankle sprains, you might feel that some of this territory feels kind of unfamiliar, as if you haven't visited it for a while. That's a great thing. Then we're going to go the other way, nice and slow. Really draw all the way round in that circle. And again, you might feel a bit of creaking and cracking going on there. That's awesome. Let's take it to the other side. So again, here we go. Start that circle. Nice big circles. And if you feel a little bit unstable, you can put one hand on a wall to guide you. Or you can sit down and do this one. And then the other way. Around we go. Big circles. Really making sure that foot gets a chance to do everything that it doesn't normally do. And then from there, we're just going to finish with some little gentle bends into those knees. And as you bend down, you might feel a little stretch down the back of your calves. Then you're going to come up onto tiptoes. So we're going to go down, tiptoes, down, tiptoes, down, tiptoes. One more, down, tiptoes, and then tuck that foot under at the back, so you're getting a nice stretch down the front of the foot. So let me just lift up these tracksuit bottoms, and then from there just soften into that front knee, and you can feel a little stretch coming into the front of that foot. And you can play around with different parts of the foot, so you can put it slightly more over the big toe, and you can sickle the foot and come slightly more to the outside. Then you can go right down the middle. And again onto the other side. So we start with it pretty much straight. And feel that lovely stretch, slightly more over the big toe. And then slightly more over the outside. And for those people who have claw toes and really grip their toes, you might find this quite a nice place to just let some of that tension come out of the feet. And then you're ready to start your workout. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the warm-up there, which took you literally from the top all the way down to your toes. Now remember, we don't want you to go into pain with this. Into a bit of tightness, stickiness, cobwebs, whatever you want to call it, is a good thing, but pain is not a good thing. So eventually we want to restore natural movement into those places, but for the time being, if it's painful, knock it on the head and make it smaller, find a pain-free space. Now, like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to hear any more about Movement Geeks from myself, Dan Baines, or from Ulric Whyte, please get in contact on www.movementgeeks.com. We really look forward to hearing from you concerning workshops, treating and training sessions, and for a full line of videos which will be coming up soon. We'll see you then.